Hi.
Hi there.
I'm a senior from Muscatine High School.
Yes, sir.
And I don't get to listen to your show because I'm at school, but I listened to your archive show on the internet the other day about bias in school.
Right. And for folks who didn't hear that, I was reading some email from a listener who says the parking lot at the school is filled with teachers' vehicles with carry stickers on them, and a number of the teachers feel totally free about proselytizing their political views from the classroom. Now, what has been your experience?
Okay, first, just a couple of background things.
Right.
I have had a couple of teachers call our president an idiot in the classroom.
Really?
Yes, an idiot. And they claim, my government teacher during government class last year claimed that Bush did not win the election and that Operation Iraqi Freedom was not justified. He also kept Al Franken's book on his desk. And another teacher had a list of 50 reasons to hate our president on the top of her desk. It was the only thing on her desk. And another teacher came into my chess club meeting, and she was complaining about the Republicans. This was right after the county convention.
Right.
And she was talking about how evil those Republicans are. And then she turned around and said, is there anybody in this class that will be able to vote this year? I said, yes, I will be able to vote.
Because you'll be 18?
Right. And she wanted me to sign a petition for a liberal Democrat in our county running for state senate.
Soliciting political signatures on a petition in a high school class?
Yeah. And I said, no, I'm not going to sign that. And she said, why not? And I said, the guy he's running against is a Republican, and he goes to my church. I've known him for a long time. And he got me a job as a page for the state legislature. I said, because I'm a good friend and a firm supporter of this guy, Jim Hahn. And she got really mad and said, well, I hope you realize he does not care about your education. And she stormed out of the room.
Oh, my gosh. Do you worry about your grades and you worry about your...
Yeah, well, there's been quite a response to this letter, but...
What letter?
I wrote a letter to the editor last week about it.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot of positive responses, but yeah, there's a lot of teachers have said they've heard people talking about me behind my back, other teachers. But then today, a week after my letter was printed, they are holding an Edwards rally at our school. John Edwards is at my school speaking right now.
How can they hold a political rally at your school?
I don't know, but they're doing it. It was optional for us to go, but it was in our gym class, and all of my teachers encouraged me to go, even if I was a Republican, because it would be a good learning experience. And I thought, okay, well, I'll listen to what they have to say. And I go, and our ticket said no signs, and I could not find my shirt that I bought that said Hayden Fry and I are voting for Bush. So,
they wouldn't let you in with your shirt?
No, I couldn't find it.
Oh, you couldn't find it.
I wore an anti-gun control shirt, and I went in and I sat down. I'm pretty sure it's on C-SPAN because they had a bunch of cameras there. And they started passing out signs to students. We're the Muscatine Muskies. They were handing out signs that said Muskies for Carrie Edwards.
They handed students, they used your class and your school as a campaign prop?
Yes. And there was a kid sitting next to me holding a Carrie Edwards sign. And then I turned around and looked behind me, and there were 3 kids holding signs with one word on each sign. It said, Hope over Halliburton. And that's when I couldn't take it, and I walked out.
Jim, you are a breath of fresh air. I thank you for calling. I thank you for listening, even if it's in the archives.
Yep.
And I'm happy that this resonated with you, because I didn't realize to what degree that teachers are practicing, well, I consider that form of behavior a breach of professional ethics at a gross level. It is political incompetence in the classroom. It is abusive. It is academically abusive, totally unprofessional, and what you've just described here further nails down the points that the letter writer, complaining about the stickers on cars in the teachers' parking lots, and they're proselytizing from the classroom. Those are an abuse of the taxpayers. It's abuse of the children. And I'm glad you have the fortitude to stand up and understand what's going on, sir.
I agree. This is Muscatine High School, if anybody wants to call in and complain. And just so you know, I will be going in this afternoon and demanding that students are released by the administration to attend the Bush rally in the Quad Cities.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Excellent. Now, let that sink in for a second. You have teachers in a public high school, assuming everything that Jim was saying is correct, having books on their desk, 50 Reasons to Hate Bush. They have Al Franken's book on the desk. A teacher in a classroom calling Bush an idiot, offering the high school government property, tax facilities, access for a Democratic political rally, using the students at the school as political props and handing them campaign signs. And they're doing this with your kids and your money. Those are ethical issues at their core. These are, I don't care what party it is. This is a wicked use of your kids and their time and your money. This is an indefensible breach of political ethics on the part of the education establishment here. And the overt kind of politicking that's going on in the classroom is unethical, unprofessional, and it's probably illegal. And if it's not illegal, it ought to be. The politicizing of public education at this level is a breach of ethics. No true professional teacher would do this. Now, I'll just put a little word substitution here. Instead of the Al Franken book or the 50 Reasons to Hate Bush, what if they had a Bible on the desk? You'd have lawsuits, ACLU. You'd have the entire establishment coming down on that teacher. Yet if you put some profane book on the desk in an overt attempt to, the other thing, passing around a petition on school time, on school property, soliciting petition signatures from high school kids. If that occurred, that is a breach of professional ethics. And if that is as rampant as it was described by the last caller at a specific high school, that is also a failure of adult leadership at the administration level. And it's a failure of the school board to get a handle on those teachers, unless, of course, Muscatine, Iowa is a bastion of Democrats who, using their majority influence to hire kindred spirits and putting them in school positions. And they're doing this because that represents the majority in the community, and nobody complains except the occasional activist who doesn't like it. And since the majority rules, hey, what's the problem?